In this lecture, we cover the topic of IT service management. IT service management is the new term for what used to be called deployment and maintenance. At one point, it used to be considered less important than software development until it became clear that IT essentially provided mission-critical services to a business. And with the increasing use and importance of IT also came great complexity that deserved its own sets of methodologies and processes. Service management essentially begins with the transition stage of the software development lifecycle, and for good reason runs in parallel with the software development tasks. The learning outcomes for this lecture are to become familiar with IT service management terms, be exposed to the IT Infrastructure Library or ITIL framework for IT service management. ITIL is a comprehensive methodology for IT service management and is basically analogous to a methodology like the Rational Unified Process or Agile for software development. Be exposed to the different stages of the IT service management lifecycle. And finally, be exposed to the key processes in IT service management. Let us now explain IT service management and briefly introduce you to ITIL. To begin with, remember that IT enables a business in achieving its goals. Businesses are constantly being challenged to be efficient and provide value and evolve with changing needs. Thus, IT also needs to be able to adapt quickly to changes, minimize cost, and very importantly, ensure a stable and available IT operational environment. This last is the primary goal of IT service management. Essentially, the primary objective of service management is to ensure that IT services meet the non-functional requirements of availability, maintainability, and modifiability that are derived from the business needs. To achieve this, IT needs to follow good service management practices. So now, what is ITIL? The Information Technology Infrastructure Library, or ITIL, is a public framework that provides a set of best practices for IT infrastructure and service management. The initial version of ITIL consisted of a library of 31 associated books covering all aspects of IT service provision. After many revisions, in ITIL version 3, five core books covering the service lifecycle, the service management lifecycle, were proposed as a starting point for a business to become good at service management. In summary, we can say that ITIL provides guidance and a holistic approach to IT service management. ITIL is based on the service management lifecycle, and its 5 books correspond to the stages of the service lifecycle. The 5 stages of the service management lifecycle provide the context in which this service management takes place. The stages are service strategy, how to transform service management into a strategic asset; service design, designing IT services along with the governing IT practices and processes to realize the strategy; service transition, development of capabilities for transitioning new services into operations; service operation, achieving reliability, effectiveness, and efficiency in the delivery and support of services; and then finally, continuous service improvement, creating value for customers by linking improvement efforts and outcomes with service strategy, design, transition, and operation. The key processes, respectively, service desk, incident, problem, change, configuration, and release management, support IT service management, support the phases of IT service management, and play a key role in providing reliable, aligned, available IT services. First, the service desk. This is the central point of contact between users and the IT service organization. The service desk usually logs and manages all incidents, service requests, access requests, and provides an interface for all other service operation processes. Incident management. An incident is an unplanned interruption to an IT service or a reduction in the quality of an IT service. Incident management restores normal service operations as quickly as possible. Problem management. A problem is a cause of one or more incidents. The cause is not usually known at the time that a problem record is created, and problem management is responsible for further investigation. Essentially, the aim of problem management is to prevent and minimize the adverse effect on the business of errors in the IT infrastructure or in the IT services. Configuration management. The configuration of the IT services and infrastructure is a complete and current logical model of the IT infrastructure and IT services that shows all the IT elements and their versions and their relationships with each other. Change management. This ensures standardized methods and procedures for handling changes in the IT infrastructure and in IT services. Release management. This ensures that all technical and non-technical aspects of a release are dealt with in a coordinated manner. Let us now look at each of these in turn. The service desk or help desk is meant to be the single point of entry for all service requests from the business users to the IT organization. The service desk works as a centralized communication interface for the IT organization. Essentially, the service desk team first records and then monitors and manages the entire life cycle of every incident. The purpose of incident management is to restore normal service as quickly as possible and to minimize the adverse impact on business operations. Incidents are often, in fact, usually detected by users who then contact the service desk to report them. Once the incident is resolved, the service desk should take steps to work with the customer to ensure satisfaction in the restoration of the service and then close the incident. Just to make clear what an incident is and what it is not, we give a few definitions below. An incident is an event that is not part of the standard operation of a service, which causes a reduction in the quality of that service. A problem, on the other hand, is the unknown cause or the typically unknown cause of one or more incidents. An unknown error is a problem which has been successfully diagnosed and for which a workaround has been identified. Incidents should be prioritized and proper escalation practices should be followed to ensure speedy resolution of the incident. Steps in incident management include incident detection and recording, classification and initial support, maybe a workaround is provided, investigation and diagnosis, resolution and recovery, and incident closure. Since there could be many incidents being reported at any given time, and because resources are scarce, incidents must be prioritized. Priorities are decided as shown in the table in the slide as follows. Priority 1 events are those that are causing significant damage and must be recovered from immediately. Priority 2 events are those whose damage is limited but which are urgent. For example, the CEO of the company might report that he or she cannot access his or her email. It isn't causing significant damage to the company. On the other hand, because the CEO is the one reporting it, it should be taken care of right away. Priority 3 events that are those that have caused significant damage but may be recovered over time. For example, rain flooding the backup servers. The damage is significant, however, since these are backup servers, they don't have to be brought back on right away. Priority 4 events are those that cause only limited damage and need not be recovered immediately. Typically, the service desk will wait for all the other 3 types of incidents to be resolved before priority 4 items are typically tackled. The goal of problem management is to, over time, prevent and minimize the adverse impact of incidents. Problem management tasks include finding the root cause of problems and the appropriate corrective actions, permanently reducing the number and severity of incidents and problems by identifying improvements. Problem management can be both proactive as well as reactive. For an example of a reactive task in problem management, it would be to identify and solve the problems after incidents occur. A proactive activity in problem management would be to analyze the trends of incidents and try to prevent the incidents happening in the first place. There are several metrics that are used to evaluate the effectiveness of problem management. One is just the total number of incidents that occur every year. This is a high-level metric that essentially measures how stable your IT services are. The next two metrics are more tailored around problem management. So for example, measuring the percentage of existing problems whose root cause has been identified, or the percentage of repeat incidents. These are all metrics tailored around problem management. The main objective of change management is to enforce proper standards while introducing change in the environment, such as a new application or an upgrade to an operating system. Change management practices provide stability and reduce risk to the business that might occur if unauthorized or incomplete changes were allowed to happen. To begin with, a configuration item, or CI, is an asset or service component that needs to be managed within the enterprise. It could be an application, a server, a router, a network connection, and so on. Configuration management provides a logical model of the infrastructure by identifying and verifying the versions of configuration items that are in existence. Configuration management teams essentially support incident, problem, and change management teams by providing a consistent and complete picture of the IT environment. Configuration management is supported by what is known as a Configuration Management Database, or CMDB. A CMDB is a database used to store details about the configuration items within the infrastructure in support of IT services. It stores how services and applications, the logical entities, are associated with the server, software, hardware, and people supporting them, essentially the physical entities. It provides a consistent, complete picture of the IT services operational environment. For example, when a server is having an issue, IT personnel can refer to a CMDB to understand the configuration of the server, the applications impacted, service level details of the applications, and the teams supporting the applications. This information will help the service center to contact the proper teams to enable a quick resolution. It will also enable the responding team to understand the situation they are in so that they can correctly fix it. Release management ensures the consistent control of release processes to make sure releases of new services or new versions of services are done properly. The objectives are as follows: assuring firstly that the change or the new service actually supports a clear business need. Secondly, to ensure consistency in the release, basically the changes that are caused because of the release. And thirdly, to ensure traceability, why the release was needed, when it was done, who did it, what was involved in it. All of these are components of release management. So what have we learned? Hopefully you are now familiar with IT service management. We explained that service management, which by the way used to be termed deployment and maintenance, begins with the transition stage of the software development lifecycle and runs in parallel with software development tasks. Hopefully you also know now what the IT infrastructure library, or the ITIL framework, is. Note that we explained that ITIL is a comprehensive methodology for IT service management and is analogous to a methodology like the Rational Unified Process or Agile for software development. It describes the stages of IT service management and provides guidance for the key processes of service management, such as the help desk, incident, problem configuration, and release management. You should now know what the different stages of the IT service lifecycle are. And finally, you should have been exposed to the key processes in IT service management: the help desk, and then incident, problem, configuration, and release management. And finally, the references we used to create this lecture. There was only one. It's an introductory overview of ITIL version 3 by the IT Service Management Forum. An electronic copy of this reference has been provided on the course site.